Welcome to another Whip It Up Wednesday. Today I'm going to do something that was probably the first thing I ever made in a crock pot, and that is a roast beef. I don't eat a lot of beef, but lately it seems that I've been craving it, so I'm giving into it. In this bowl, I have, can you see, all kinds of veggies. For the most part, they're the traditional vegetables that you put in roast beef. I have some onion, one medium onion, large diced, 10 carrots diced because I like really a lot of carrots. I have some chopped mushrooms because I had a few in the refrigerator that I wanted to use, and some chopped sun-dried tomatoes because they kept falling out of the refrigerator. Now, the thing that might strike you as a bit odd are these. They're radishes. Now, I trust you know what a radish is, though I have to confess some cashiers at the supermarket don't. I was watching a video on low-carb cooking the other day, and he recommended using or making hash browns out of radishes, and he says they're quite tasty, though his best version he felt were the radishes and cauliflower combination. But he suggested using them in lieu of potatoes in other dishes, so that's what we're doing. So just throw those in the bottom of Dot. That's the name of this crock pot. Oops, sorry about that. I hate this tripod, just saying. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now for the meat. We'll put the meat in. My favorite cut for a roast beef is a chuck roast. The Village Market seldom has chuck roast, so you go what you can find. This is a bottom round. Just need to make room for it here. I got a little overzealous with the carrots, but hey, it'll taste good. Now give me a minute while I wash my hands. Okay, this is the perfect day to be making beef, a roast beef, or any kind of meal in a crock pot because I'm really busy today and it's also incredibly dreary out. I'm going to season it with a little bit of cracked pepper. I do my pepper in one, I do quite a bit at a time so that I don't have to keep stopping and do it. Fortunately, I like a lot of pepper. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of garlic powder. I don't have any of my own made up, so we're using commercial. Now for the liquids. Let me get this out of the way. And I might as well get this out of the way too. Okay. In this bowl, sorry about that, we have a half a pint of mushroom soup concentrate that I made and canned. Oops, you can't see it very well, can you? That I made and canned. The recipe is in the Not Your Mama's canning book. And I also have 3/4 of a cup of stock, 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and we're going to just pour that over the roast. And now for one of my favorite ingredients, port. Okay, a lot of people use other kinds of wine, other kinds of red wine, if they put wine in at all. I love port, probably a little too much. But I try to save it only for cooking, so just pour that in there. Now, you'll notice that except for the garlic powder and the ground pepper, I don't use many spices in my basic roast beef. That is basically because I never know what I'm going to use the leftovers for. I usually make a soup of some kind. Okay, it's all right to say yum, you know. We learned that in Julie and Julia. I never know what I'm going to use it for, though I do usually make a soup out of the leftovers. And so I'm not sure how I'm going to flavor the soup, whether I want to do an Oriental style, an Italian style, or what. So I just go ahead and leave the roast fairly plain. Plus, then that way I usually make a horseradish sauce or a mustard sauce, so to have with it, and I can also have it on sandwiches. So that's another reason I keep it slow, or I keep the seasonings low. But feel free to use whatever seasonings you like. Thyme is excellent in roast beef. I don't have any thyme for some reason. I have other kind. But I like to add thyme, sometimes a little rosemary, though I'm more prone to use rosemary with chicken than with roast beef. So I'm going to put this in Dot. There's Dot. Say hi to Dot. I'm trying to find the meow. Okay, there's Dot. Come on, focus. Okay, there's Dot. Named for obvious reasons. And I'm going to cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours. I'll check it at 6, and probably it may be done. Dot does have a tendency to run a bit warm. And then I'll bring you back when it's done and I'm serving it, and we can check out how those radishes are. They're supposed to mellow out quite a bit when they're cooked. The only thing I did was wash them and cut off the ends. So you really can't get much easier than that. So I'll see you when it's time to eat. Note to self: before beginning filming, check to make sure there is a memory card in the camera. Doesn't do any good if it's sitting in the computer. It's dinner time. This is my Whip It Up Wednesday roast beef with vegetables, including mushrooms. Now, I know you've all been wondering about how the radishes would turn out. Now, I don't know about you, but oops, I'm trying to be polite here. But this looks an awful lot like what your potatoes look like once they've cooked all day in the roast. Now, okay, I admit I've already sampled one. They might need to have cooked a little longer, but as you can see, they're not that different. They don't look that different from potatoes. They don't have much of a flavor of themselves. I mean, you don't taste radish. If you don't like radishes because you think they're too strong, there is not that problem when you cook them in a stew, with roast beef. They taste like what else is in the roast. There's a bit of the beef flavor in here, of course, as well as the port, and some Worcestershire sauce, as well as the mushroom soup concentrate. So they're nice little absorbers, and they do add a potato-like kind of mouthfeel. Don't expect it to taste like potato because you're going to be sorely disappointed. This roast beef, I'm also serving it with some of my homemade, home-canned honey mustard that, by coincidence, is ready today. This is one of my favorite crock-pot meals. Like I said, I don't eat a lot of beef anymore. I do cook a lot of chicken. And I do some of it in the crock-pot, though a lot of it goes in the pressure cooker, I have to confess. But this is one of my favorites, and on a cold, gray day, it's perfect. So I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks.